The Assyrian Empire, one of might and unchallenged conquest for its time. Assyria's crowning importance as being the first ever military power, and being infamous for its sheer brutality. Now, inevitably, it did come to an end, but some of its greatest kings ruled shortly before the empire's very destruction. This is what I seek to talk about today: the last three great kings of Assyria. Not just how they preserved their empire, but also how their decisions were instrumental in its very destruction. The men known as Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal. So Sennacherib ascended to the throne in 705 BC, being the son of Sargon II. And what do you do when a new king ascends to the throne? You stop paying tribute. Pretty much rebellion. And that is what many vassals in the West did. This happened fairly early on because Sennacherib was apparently not as assertive as his father. Boy, will that age well. So Sennacherib promptly stamped out these rebellions brutally, but there was one that went terribly: the siege of Jerusalem. According to the people of Jerusalem, through the Bible, God pretty much said, "This ain't it, chief," and killed the Assyrian army. And the Assyrian perspective says, drumroll please, nothing. Because it was an absolute embarrassment. So Sennacherib pretty much just gave up and let Judea be. Wow. But there was yet another thorn consistently in the side of Assyria. That is Babylon. So Babylon was under Assyria's heel. And surprise, surprise, Babylon didn't like that. The thing is, the split had always existed. It existed through the Sumerian-Akkadian split. It existed through Babylonian-Assyrian split. And through a Shia-Sunni split to this day. Now, Sennacherib had personal issues regarding Babylon. As I said, he was the son of Sargon II, who retook Babylon. And Sargon pretty much decided it was a great idea to let's respect Babylon's culture and even worship the Babylonian patron god Marduk. The issue then was that he ended up dying, I think, in battle. And at the time, if you died the way that Sargon II died, well, it was considered as if you were left roaming the earth alone, pretty much.
What the heck? What is this place? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I?
In a way. And as a result, many looked at it as punishment for him prioritizing the god Marduk over the god Ashur. And as a result, Sennacherib had a lot of built-in hatred for Babylon. And yeah, that became a massive problem as we begin to see. Now, as Assyria, how do you keep Babylon loyal to your reign? Do you put an Assyrian governor up? Well, Babylonians rebel against that. Do you put Babylonian governor in charge? Well, they would rebel. Do you put a family member on the Babylonian throne? Well, he may very well get a little bit too ambitious. So Babylon was always a problem, and always had some bit of rebellion. In fact, some of this rebellion partially caused the death of one of Sennacherib's sons. So what did he do to solve the Babylonian problem? He destroyed the city to an absurd extent, and then kidnapped the patron god of Babylon, Marduk, and put it on trial. So after that little 5-minute adventure, he decided that war wasn't all that interesting, and instead went home to Nineveh and started building. During this time, the crown prince was killed fighting in Elam. So Sennacherib had to choose between the older son, Ordo-Mulisu, or the younger son, Esarhaddon, as his successor. So at first, Ordo-Mulisu was chosen. But after some disagreement or whatever it was, I like to think they got into an argument about which Adam Sandler movie was best. But suffice it to say, Esarhaddon became crown prince. angering Erdumalisu. Esarhaddon, realizing how angry his brother was, fled Nineveh for a while. Then, Erdumalisu and another brother murdered Sennacherib. So Esarhaddon led his army to Nineveh as his brother collected a loose army, who promptly deserted. Esarhaddon easily retook Nineveh and the throne, and proceeded to brutally punish all who supported his father's murderers. And, to expand upon his brutal rule, he rebuilt Babylon. How nice. And then invaded Egypt and sacked Memphis. So the circumstances behind his ascension to the throne, combined with the death of his wife, and having to suppress a prophecy from Haran that foretold his doom, he became really depressed. We will now interrupt the explanation of Esarhaddon's mental state by asking a simple question. With Babylon rebuilt, how will they handle the Assyrian-Babylonian issue? Well, he came up with an interesting idea. Okay, hear me out. Make the eldest son, Shamash-shum-kin, king of Babylon, and make the younger son, Ashurbanipal, king of Assyria. And this is the plan he went with. So anyways, his mental state deteriorated, and as a result, he ended up dying on campaign while stopping at Haran, which is where that strange prophecy happened to have come from. Interesting. And it was an actually peaceful transfer of power. In fact, Shamash-shum-kin brought back the last thing not returned to Babylon, the Babylonian god Marduk. So anyways, what about the Assyrian half? Hey Ashurbanipal, what are you doing? I am reading. Wait, what? So, not being the original crown prince, Ashurbanipal was raised in a more priestly or scribal tradition. And therefore, the guy could read and write. And boy did he embrace it. He made a great library in Nineveh and collected numerous works from around the world. In fact, it is because of this library that the Epic of Gilgamesh has survived. Sick. So Egypt decided to rebel once again against Assyrian rule. Seeing a pattern here? And he went and sacked numerous cities up to Thebes. So how is Shamash-shum-kin doing? So unfortunately for him, he is not all that respected in contrast to his brother. In fact, his governors defaulted to Ashurbanipal rather than Shamash-shum-kin. Ashurbanipal would often interfere with his rule, and this greatly angered him. So he conspired with the leader of the people of Elam, Toyman. Toyman began attacking Assyria. So Ashurbanipal had him crushed. Eventually, a year later, Shamash-shum-kin would reveal his intentions, as he was declaring independence. So Assyria sieged Babylon. Shamash-shum-kin died in a fire, and Babylonians were killed and the city was destroyed again. He then turned around and waged a war of extermination on the people of Elam, and destroyed the city of Susa brick by brick. Here's the thing though, Elam was the top rival of the Medes, and so by destroying Elam, it emboldened the people of Media. And boy did they relish in that influence. So anyways, we don't actually know how Ashurbanipal died. We just know that according to his own writings, he got really depressed, like his father, for some reason. So after the death of Ashurbanipal, everyone rebelled. Predictable, ain't it? Media went and destroyed Assyria's cultural capital of Ashur. Babylonian king Nabopolassar rebelled against Assyria and sided with the Medes. Media would go on to destroy the administrative center of Nineveh and the military center of Nimrut. A general named Ashur-uballit made a last stand at Haran, where the prophecy was made during the reign of Esarhaddon. So yes, the reigns of Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, Ashurbanipal made Assyria very powerful. and to a degree did preserve their empire against all sorts of threats. But their choices also led to the brutal downfall of their empire as well. The policy of absolute brutality in war made them hated, and yes, this was a military tradition before Sennacherib, but he still used it. It is this aggression and brutality that led to this fiery end for Assyria. And then Sennacherib's destruction of Babylon, which led to the split of power created by Esarhaddon, which then proceeded to lead to Shamash Shmuelkin's betrayal, and therefore causing the destruction of Elam and then the rise of Media. It is a domino effect of poor decisions that had little better alternatives. So yes, the death of Assyria was inevitable, but it certainly was goaded on by the brutality and their problems with Babylon. And for that time period, this was just something Assyria could not fix. But that is all I have to say about it. Let me know your thoughts and thank you for watching. Hey, Ashuraye, you can't say Assyria without